Am I the asshole for not getting on a flight upon finding out that he put my kids in economy? So my fiance has 3 kids from his former marriage, whilst I have 2 from my former marriage as well. I quit my job to start focusing on getting my degree. He's become the breadwinner, if you will, although I still contribute with my savings. I also do 80% of the childcare and chores. Long story short, he wanted me and my kids to attend Thanksgiving with his family, who are located across country, and we were supposed to go yesterday, ahead of time, to get a rental place. He booked our tickets and everything, but later, before the flight, I found out that he, his kids, and myself were put in first class, whilst my 2 kids, 14 and 10, were put in economy. I was stunned. He acted like it was no big deal and told us it was just a few hours and that the kids could just hang in there for a little while. I asked how he could think this was acceptable, and he got mad and said he's the one paying for tickets, then we go by his rules. I immediately turned around and took the kids and made my way out of the airport. He started following us, screaming at me to go back, but I refused and told him I no longer felt like spending Thanksgiving with his folks after this. My youngest cried because she never flew without me. He went with his kids. Me and the kids are at home. He has not stopped calling, trying to berate me, and even had his mom text me that I needed to get over myself and stop teaching my kids to be spoiled and entitled. She said that the fact that I was willing to miss Thanksgiving with the family over something so trivial shows my real character and personality and mindset, or lack thereof. I have not replied, but I feel horrible. Am I the asshole? Should I have just let it slide and went? In case I wasn't clear, me and the kids left our family and hometown so we could go celebrate with his family in his hometown. My kids weren't too excited leaving their grandparents for a week or so. Update: I'm currently getting myself and the kids packed so that we go stay with my mother. This has happened before in other instances, but I kept thinking to myself, this is not right, but I have invested too much time and effort in this relationship, so maybe this shouldn't get in the way. And then I try to minimize most situations where I find my kids being put last. Not only that, but he tried to give me an ultimatum regarding getting my degree, and what was my response? This isn't right, but kept making light of it and letting it go. Now he's probably bad-mouthing me to the whole family, and so is his mom. Bless her effing heart. The kids and I are leaving. He'll be coming back to an empty home, except he'll find some company with the engagement ring that I took off and left on the nightstand. Distance and some reevaluation is needed right now. Thank you to all who reached out with a helpful input and perspectives. You're right. My kids come first, and that's what I keep trying to do, and I hope I won't ever fail. Thank you so much for the support. Bravo to you, OP, who is user the throwaway 156. I think at the end of the day, your choices come down to happiness. What choice is going to lead to the most happiness for you and the ones that you love? You have to have the ability to do some long-term thinking when you make those choices. And I think that's where most people screw up, because most people think, what's going to cause the least amount of pain right now? And that equals my happiness, when that's not true. That is not the case. Sometimes to choose happiness, you have to choose pain, and you have to choose it multiple times to get to the place where you can be happy. You have to be able to see that path and say, what choices do I need to make right now that will lead to my vision of happiness? Or whatever that vision is. It doesn't have to be happiness, but specifically with happiness, I think people really screw this up. In this case, OP gets it right, which is huge. And it tells us that happiness for her means that she is in a comfortable place where she is able to love and be loved, and that the ones that she loves are happy as well. If OP had chosen to stay and ends up choosing to stay in this relationship, what is that going to teach her children? And I think about this a couple of different ways. Number one, it's going to be a signal to them that maybe that significant other is on a pedestal that's higher than them. Maybe they're a higher priority level than them, which shouldn't be the case, right? So your love for your children takes a little bit of a ding if you make that choice, like it or not. It also teaches them that behavior like your fiance's is acceptable in relationships, which is maybe the bigger issue here. How much should you be willing to endure? What is okay? What are boundaries? How do you set those in relationships? They're learning all of that from you right now. How to communicate with your significant other, how to have a successful relationship. And they're watching and observing and learning everything that you do right now. If you want to see the effects of choosing to stay, there's actually a story that we did just a little while ago about a situation situation where two kids had been treated as less than, similar to the situation that you caught a glimpse of. It's been years and years and years, and the OP was an adult who had been treated as less than for her entire life and her brother's entire life, and the stepdad ended up asking them for help to pay for like his daughter's house down payment, his bio daughters. It's a whole ordeal. Anyway, OP was able to tell them no, and had the feeling of being treated as less than built up over years and years and years, and said no because of how the stepdad had chosen to treat them throughout their childhood. And he groveled and regretted it then, but it didn't matter because it was way too late. Imagine putting your kids through that journey and getting to that moment. And the choice that you make right now is the one that prevents that or causes it. So that's what I mean when I say choose a path and be able to look at the direction that it will eventually lead to, at least the possibilities of what it could lead to. Choose the one that provides the greatest possibility of that happiness. I don't think our OP mom here is asshole in any way, shape, or form. It was a clear indicator of what he thinks of your children as less than, and that is not okay. It is not okay for him to expect you to put him on a pedestal that's higher than your children, or his kids on a pedestal that's higher than your children. That's not okay. And anything he did for the rest of his life, he would be treating them as less than. And that's going to lead to all kinds of issues for your kids down the road. So avoid it. That doesn't lead to happiness for them. So make the choice for everyone. It's some short-term pain, but that's going to be the best for everyone. You're not the asshole at all. Your fiance, we know he's an AskCon 1. I'm just trying to figure out, what special edition of AskCon 1 this guy is. Listen, wife, kids will be fine back in, coach. Hey, let's just hang in there for a little while. It'll be all right. Your husband is a first-class asshole. Let's call him an AskCon 1. You already made the decision. Now you just need to toss that baggage, redirect yourself in the direction that you know you want to go.